Will the Bar Mitzvah be the culmination of Jewish learning? That is the question for our generation. I'm Jonathan Stiebel. I'm the founder and executive director of the Singing Torah. On your screen, you see a screenshot of our prototype in which Cantor Jody Suffren chants Exodus 19, and we synchronize automatically her voice to the Hebrew Bible text, word by word. So imagine we're now on the fourth word, and you're hearing that fourth word as you are seeing the text highlighted for you. Imagine how much easier that is for you as a Bar Mitzvah student, as a Bat Mitzvah student. They don't have to go looking for their text. They don't have to worry about where their place is. They want to hear the word again, they click on it, and they can hear it again and again, or another word. This is what I always dreamed of when I had my Bar Mitzvah. It wasn't just my dream. Cantor Jody Suffren has been looking around for something that fulfilled this need in a true and authentic way. And she was so delighted with our decision to build the Singing Torah around the child's own cantor's voice. Instead of putting a barrier saying, child, go off in the corner, study with your computer, detach from your cantor. No, we are putting this, integrating the cantor and her voice into our software. So the child, when the child is studying with the software, learns from the cantor's own voice. It creates a personal connection for each child. The Bar Mitzvah is a rite of passage. Rites of passage in traditional society have been hard. It's a way to know that the young adult is worthy of the transition into fraternal membership in the society and is deserving of a mate. The Bar Mitzvah and the Bat Mitzvah is a rite of passage in modern society, and it's hard. It's a challenge to learn a foreign language, in this case Hebrew, to learn musical notation, and on top of that, it's really not standard musical notation, but it's non-Western musical notation called TorahTrope. And then to apply these non-standard, non-Western musical notation to this foreign language, to Hebrew. Just imagine compounding the challenge. The child must perform this Hebrew song chanted in the foreign language without being allowed to see the musical notes or the vowels when they're on the bima, reading from the ancient parchment scroll, the Torah. They do this in front of 200 of their closest friends, relatives, their community, their classmates from school. And everyone who's important to their parents. All there, all the eyes are on them. It's a true rite of passage. After that, on that day, people know, where is the child going? What's the direction? The Singing Torah brings ancient words to life. It automatically highlights the Hebrew Bible verse, word by word. Synchronize the audio from the Bar Mitzvah student's own cantor. It shows the students exactly where they are in each verse, making it easier to focus on the current word being chanted by their cantor. The current verse becomes enlarged automatically. The clarity of drawing attention to one verse at a time makes the text more accessible to all students, and especially helpful to those with ADHD and dyslexia. Our mission is social-based. Re-engage Jewish youth with Judaism. For 2 generations, people see themselves more as Americans and less as Jews. Half of Jewish children lack 2 Jewish parents. And 80%, could you believe 80% of Bar Mitzvah students have no connection to a synagogue by 12th grade. This is a disaster for young people and congregations. Adult engagement in the Jewish community is impeded by missing prior knowledge of Jewish customs, laws, and rituals, the Jewish legacy, our tradition. Our goal is to enhance the Bar Mitzvah experience by growing retention by 50%. Reduce stress, increase mastery and self-confidence by combining technology with Torah to enhance the learning experience. We create greater attachment to Judaism, making learning more enjoyable during the critical adolescent years that define lifelong attachment to Judaism. We're endorsed by a Vice President of Education at a major conservative synagogue as likely to raise retention from 20% to 30%. Our goal is to enable teaching of 100,000 Jewish children for their Bar Mitzvah over a decade. To increase the post-Bar Mitzvah retention rate from the existing 20% to an astounding 30%. This will dramatically reduce membership problems in Reform synagogues. We base ourselves off of the President's report, Rabbi Eric H. Yofi, the URJ Board of Trustees meeting, Brooklyn, New York, June 10th, 2010. How? This is a scale that's only possible with extreme passion, dedication, and a very specific combination of talents. Our technology provides the personal connection to make learning more engaging, regardless of parental skill level. B'nai Mitzvah families have raised a child Jewish. Our role is to create a comfortable learning atmosphere. My transformation to becoming an expert. I was a confused child, an American child. Grew up in suburbia, conservative synagogue. For some reason, I felt the urge to learn about my Jewish heritage, even if it meant doing whatever it takes. So I packed my suitcases, and headed off to a foreign country, to Israel. I learned for a bachelor's degree in Jewish education with the focus on the Hebrew Bible. I had amazing teachers, the greatest rabbis to ever walk the earth, and I mean it. Since Rabbi Akiva, and since Moses, and since the great prophets. No one has understood the Hebrew Bible and has cared so much about understanding the Hebrew Bible and has had the resources and the tools and the ability to learn and the infrastructure of the State of Israel to enable them to be the greatest rabbis to ever live. I was a study partner. I learned with them for 3 years, taking 6 semester-long classes or more in the Hebrew Bible. The reality is I took far more than that. Over time, I took about 36 semester-long classes in the Hebrew Bible. Taking into account that there were only 24 books in the Hebrew Bible, that meant that every book I learned for a semester and a half, on average. My study partner is the head of a major yeshiva, a Jewish school in Israel, Yeshivat HaDarom, the southern yeshiva. And at Or Etzion, I taught rabbinical students in Hebrew. I taught them the Hebrew Bible as part of their curriculum there. In a discussion with Cantor Safran, these were my notes. She really appreciates the way that the Singing Torah places the voice of each cantor at the center of Bar Mitzvah learning for their community. It's a kind of immortality. Every cantor should want this to be used with every Bar Mitzvah and Bat Mitzvah student in their congregation. The Bar Mitzvah and the Bat Mitzvah learning process is an opportunity to connect the next generation and strengthen our community. It's meeting the communal need for each Bar Mitzvah and Bat Mitzvah student to connect with their own temple's Cantors Voice integrated in software. We did something as a team that in all of my years in yeshiva and studying the Hebrew Bible, I never imagined that I would accomplish. We did an original transliteration of the entire Hebrew Bible, including all Torah portions and all Haftorah portions. And whenever there's a question of what's in, what's out, how do we do it, I remembered my teachers and how they spoke so eloquently of Rav Mordechai Breuer, the reconstructor of the Aleppo Codex, what we consider today to be the most authoritative preservation of a Masoretic biblical text. I come directly from that tradition. And I have led a team that has transliterated the entire Hebrew Bible. And if that's not enough, my team has done something many would view as impossible, or at least quite hard. How difficult? We happen to know that IBM attempted about 9 years ago to do speech recognition in Hebrew. We've checked our contacts. Nothing's come out of that. They still can't do it. We can do speech recognition in biblical Hebrew. We can synchronize the voice of any Jewish cantor with the Hebrew Bible text. Why do we do this? We do this because we want to build community around the Bar Mitzvah child's cantor and to enable teaching in the immortal cantor's voice. Because we believe that we can, by this, preserve today's cantors for future generations. Whether the cantor is the last remaining descendant from a community that was almost entirely destroyed in the Holocaust, or just a slightly dying out community, or just a really talented cantor, or somebody who needs to have somebody else do the tutoring now. But everyone wants to learn from that cantor's voice. We can do that for you as a cantor and for you as a community. Our software, well, it works much better for all students than the way cantors and rabbis and bar mitzvah tutors are teaching our children now. It's especially effective for ADHD and dyslexic students. People ask if Judaism was fine. Judaism was transmitted for thousands of years without computers, without the internet, without cantillated speech recognition, without an original transliteration of the Hebrew Bible. What's new? Ma nishtana. Why is this day, this time, different from all other days? Why is this exile, this night, different from all other nights? Because in this exile, in these two generations, the means for transmission of the Jewish tradition within the extended family have decreased by at least 80%. 80%. We no longer live in a generation where we can take for granted that when we raise our children, their grandparents will be there. That they will have two Jewish parents. That these Jewish parents will remain married to each other. That these Jewish parents will be able, without help, to carry on and teach the next generation. They're busy. They have other things going on in their lives. 2 generations ago, there were 6 people, the 2 grandparents on both sides, and the parents, who, amongst them, somebody could connect and teach the next generation. Now, of the family, grandparents, often not around, often in another city. Often parents marry late, so grandparents, it's harder for them. So the parents are on their own. The mother, say she's Jewish, 50% married a Jewish spouse, 50% didn't, 50% still married, 50% divorced. One best case scenario, average, 1.25 parents and familial ancestors who can pass on tradition instead of 6. That's an 80% decrease. This is a crisis in our generation. We need tools from our generation for Judaism to survive in this generation. If Judaism does not survive this generation, Judaism will not survive. Our team includes Norm, Vice President of Education for Congregation Beth David, a large conservative synagogue. He's taught Bar Mitzvah students as well as post-Bar Mitzvah students. Mike Spessiner, formerly of MIT, a senior scientist. His bar mitzvah was a disaster, and he wants to help the next generation. Visit our blog to learn more and find out how you can support us in our mission and to join our email list.